Today we're taking our narrowboat home on the Aire Calder Navigation from Castleford to Leeds. George, our senior Springer Spaniel, is having one last potter about before we all climb aboard the boat. The locks on this canal are huge, and so you see some really big boats about, as well as some remnants of industries from days gone by. Just before the road bridge we pass Castleford Boatyard, which is home to quite an eclectic collection of boats. We're on the Castleford Cut here, which bypasses a huge meander in the river. We reach the flood lock at the end of the cut, and today both sets of gates are open, so we can pass straight through. The lock has quite an unusual triangular shape, which really confused me when we first came here. Below the lock we rejoin the River Aire at a four-way junction. We're taking the north exit to Leeds. Straight ahead takes you to Wakefield, and if you turn south you'll soon find yourself at a weir. Not recommended. It's October and it's rather wet and misty, but despite the gloomy weather there's something really special about being out on the water. At this time of year the waterways are all rather quiet, so it's a treat to see another boat on the move. The first lock of the day is Lemonro, and Michael drops me off at this stepped lock landing so I can go and operate the lock. Michael keeps the boat far away from the gates as the water empties. It's always reassuring to see that the river's in green. So far so good. Once the boat's been raised we find out that a sensor isn't working, so the gates just won't open despite the water being equalised. We try all the usual tricks but end up having to call out the Canal and River Trust. All in all we're stuck here for about an hour. Finally above the lock and we're back on a cut which will take us to Whittlesford Lock. This lock appears to be one of the most cared for locks we've come across. There's a small army of volunteers out tending to the plants on the lock side. And then we head on to Fishpond Lock, which Michael is sad to discover isn't actually a pond full of fish. These locks are 200 feet long and 20 foot wide, and narrowboat Perseverance looks quite tiny floating around on her own. We pass under the imaginatively named concrete bridge and then under the motorway bridge, with George helpfully keeping a lookout at the back of the boat. When we arrive at Nostrop Fall Lock there's a boat coming down, which is rather convenient for us. We're pretty much on the outskirts of Leeds now, and we start to see some signs of the city, like this big old warehouse building which has been converted into apartments. We stop at the visitor moorings just below Leeds Lock next to the Armoury Museum, which Michael is very keen to visit.